Welcome to another Charles Cormier podcast. We have Abbie Hartley Richie with us today. She's the tech guru at Smarter Service. She's host of the Tech Smarter and former host of Tech Talk on Your Life Arizona. She's a TEDx speaker, participated in Age Tech Collaborative from AARP, live from Scottsdale. I'm in Oaxaca, Mexico. And yeah, Abby, I'm glad to have you on. Tell us a bit more about yourself and what you're up to.
Thank you. Thank you, Charles. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm thrilled to be here today. And a little bit about myself. So, I am a fourth generation entrepreneur, and everyone in my family has started companies, started businesses, found an unmet need, and was passionate about what they founded, and then created opportunities for a lot of other people. So, in the grand scheme of things, I can truly share that I am passionate at helping entrepreneurs. I understand the challenges and the struggles.
Yeah, and tell me a bit more about people in old age using technology. I feel like often lack empathy with people that are not good with technologies nowadays because I just think they're doing themselves a disservice. But you're in that field, right? So tell me about the
Yeah.
current state of things. Are older folks nowadays using ChatGPT, for example, and the ones that aren't, how can we actually have them learn that and bring them up to scale?
So at the Smarter Service, and what we do is we help older adults with their technology. And what we found is that there is a huge digital divide. It's a gap that's occurred when it comes to an older adult using technology. And I'm just talking about the basics, whether it's their phone or their printer or writing email, for instance. Because what I found in my experience of being in age tech is that older adults are traditional learners. All right. They went to school, they took notes, they like to have a handout and a manual. And yet today's technology is so often delivered without any of that foundation. So, what we like to do at the Smarter Service is provide a tech concierge, whether it's at a senior living community or it's a one on one opportunity to really help build a basic foundation of knowledge within the technology, build on that, and then start helping them really use technology to connect with family and friends.
And your podcast, tell me a bit more about it. It's not your first one. How's it different from the last one?
Well, mostly what I'm doing on Tech Smarter is I'm interviewing innovators. These are people who are coming up with age tech products. I'm also interviewing investors, people like your previous guest who is interested in investing in this type of technology, as well as senior living operators. These are people who are running senior living communities where it's such a unique blend of hospitality and medical support and all in one place. So that is what Tech Smarter is focused on.
Tell me also, yeah, like about ChatGPT precisely. Is it used in older communities? Because I was talking to some guy, I believe yesterday, I was saying that, yeah, actually people can use that, whether it is from loneliness or solving some of their problems. So what have you seen precisely with the ChatGPT used in older communities?
Well, first and foremost, there's the need to sort of demystify the stigma behind it and teach around it. Here's how it can help your life today. Just yesterday, I was doing a broadcast to a group of individuals in the tri-state area, and we were talking about travel tech and how you can use ChatGPT to do something like create an itinerary for you. And so the more that we could just bring it to their needs and their level, the more they're going to adapt to it. So there are things that we've taught in the past, like how can you write a letter, a hard letter, by using ChatGPT to just letting that be a launching point to helping you get closer to completing the task that you're trying to do.
Right. What about ChatGPT's poor memory sometime and hallucination? Like, let's say that it does return something that is not super accurate? How can we equip also like older minds to deal with that and have some intellectual to defense or screening to know if it's
Yeah.
truthful or not?
Well, I think if you can teach prompts, that's usually the most helpful thing is, teaching someone how to prompt ChatGPT to extract the information that you're looking for. So a lot of times I'll say something like, now pretend that you are inquiring to a travel agent, right? And so you're going to pump up the ChatGPT. You're going to say you are like a premier travel agent for older adults. You specialize in trips that older adults are taking and possibly the limitations that they may have with mobility. Help me create an itinerary with multiple stops, with no steps, for instance, and something that's going to be possibly even intergenerational because we're bringing our grandchildren with us.
Right. And what about these scams that keep getting better and better with time? Like it's notorious for tricking people in old age, the Nigerian prince scam and all of that. Like, how do we teach, these folks to deal with that?
I'm really glad that you brought this up because this is one of my passion topics, and you may never get me to stop talking about it. But in the course of helping older adults with their technology, we found that they're particularly vulnerable to scams and frauds, and they're more trustworthy. They're more often to be socially isolated, and they really value social connection. So they also just want to make sure they're not doing anything wrong and they're not missing anything. And so when they get a text message that says, confirm your mailing address because there's a package coming your way, or an email that says that your Netflix account password needs to be reset, they really truly want to do their very best in fulfilling that and not look stupid and not miss anything. And so we found that the more that we can bring awareness to the scams and the frauds, and there's new ones that are coming up every day. So this is an ongoing piece of education that falls into digital literacy. And the more that we can educate them, like this is what it looks like, then they're aware, they can avoid it, and they can take action on it.
Interesting. And yeah, the social isolation problem, in what percentage of cases is that the case? Is it like at 80%? Tell me about, yeah, the lonely epidemic. Like, wouldn't their family call them on a daily basis and check in with them? What are potential solutions to have them less lonely?
Yeah, you know what? I think it really varies from person to person, but social isolation is an epidemic, and a lot of older adults are alone. And yes, they can use things like ChatGPT and robots and FaceTime and online classes to connect with family and friends. The more they get out and they go to groups, whether it's exercise or games, whatever the case is, the less the chances that they have that feeling of being socially isolated. But it's definitely something that we do focus on because we know that if we can get them to come to a class, we know that if they can engage with family and friends, that they're going to live longer, happier lives.
Right. And what have been the most exciting age tech companies that you've seen as of late?
That's a great question. So, a couple of them come to mind. One is called Helpany, all right. And what Helpany does is it has like a unit that almost looks like a smoke alarm that you place inside someone's home, and it's radar-based technology that's tracking someone's movements within the home. So you can tell from a caregiver app how often your mom is getting up to go to the bathroom. Is she staying in bed longer than normal? Does she go to the bathroom 3 times more than she did the previous night? And also be alerted when something is off the pattern. And I love this because it's a great solution to in home monitoring that also respects an older adult's privacy and their integrity. So it's not a camera, it's not a microphone. That's one. There's another one that I absolutely love, and it's called My Health. And My Health is also an in home unit that allows you to monitor how someone is doing, but it has sort of an Alexa component to it in which it can ask and prompt questions to the person who's living at home. It's great for a post acute surgery patient so that a doctor can say, how are you feeling today? How are you taking your vitals today? I've noticed that you've gotten up a lot more than you normally do. And then following up with that patient on a daily basis, even offering a medication prompt.
We often talk about on this podcast that yeah, people that retire tends to get bored as well, and it's like less intellectually stimulating. The work is also a way to make friends and talk to people. So, do you recommend that people actually retire and not work?
I have never been asked that question before, nor would I ever make a recommendation either way. But I would say that you stay passionate about what you're doing, you know. And so if you previously loved to sing, but you found that you didn't have time to do that while you were a working professional, get back into singing again. If you previously loved to 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 be artistic, but you couldn't do that while you were the head of the chief of medicine, get back into your artistry again. You know, again, like I said, I come from four generations of entrepreneurs. Everyone in my family, they're still working because they love what they're doing. So I just say, you know, get involved in what you're passionate about, and that passion fuels your energy and your livelihoods.
And is there something wrong with talking to an AI as an older person? Could that AI be your best friend?
Well, here's something I want to shift the narrative just a little bit. I'm always encouraging older adults to use the digital assistants within their devices. Okay. And that digital assistant could very well become your BFF because as we age, we lose dexterity in our fingers. We lose our eyesight. It diminishes. And the more that we could speak into our devices to help us do just basic things, right? You know, what's the weather today? What's on my calendar? Call my daughter, schedule a doctor's appointment. These are just really basic things. The more that you can do that today while you can see and you can use your fingers through using your digital assistant, the better it's going to serve you in the years to come. So I do think that with some of the in-home robots, for instance, ones that are more lifelike, that yes, you can create a relationship with them, and you want those robots to interact with you on a daily basis to sort of illuminate when you come into the room and to ask after your help and how you're doing today.
Do you believe that aging will be a thing of the past one day if we crack escape longevity when it comes to yeah, escape velocity when it comes to longevity?
No, I don't. I think we're going to be experiencing aging indefinitely. I think it's unavoidable. What we can do leading up to it is follow the doctor's basic orders. Okay. And we do talk about this a lot in longevity. We talk about all sorts of solutions. But what we found is that when you follow the basic orders, get some good sleep, right? Eat whole foods, stay active every day. Um, what else? I think I'm missing another pillar right there. But when you follow these basic
Social, like yeah, talking to people, having friends, that's a
habits,
gigantic
yeah,
part. Stress
staying connected,
levels.
keeping your stress, like these are just truly basic things. The more that we implement them, the less we're going to feel the impact of aging.
And do you feel that doctors will stay around for long if AI is doing a better job at diagnosis than 90% of them? Well, and if so, will it be more of a social part, like a psychotherapist part, than technical part?
Well, let me say this. So, at the Smarter Service, we do provide tech concierge programs in senior living communities across the country. We have the option to have it virtual as well. But what we find over and over and over again is that the people that we're serving want to have human connection. Yeah, they could call someone and they can get tech support, but having someone sitting right then and there with you, looking in their eyes and being present is so important to our customers and the people that we serve. So in the same way, AI is going to replace certain aspects for sure, but people want a human connection.
Right. And your podcast, have you thought of interviewing these older folks and get a piece of their wisdom?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, there are some interviews I've done where I've had an operator on, for instance, and then we'll also have an a resident available to talk about how technology is impacting their lives or what else they would like to see happen within their communities to help them connect using technology.
You feel that society is missing a part of their wisdom? I feel that older folks have tons of wisdom, but it just goes away because we don't have anything to record it. Either we don't give them attention or we just don't think of re- recording their memories and their precious wisdom.
Yeah, you know what? I happen to think that older adults are the best people on the planet. I really do. I was raised by my nana and papa, and because of that, I have a deep love and admiration for older adults. It's really and truly why I'm passionate about what I do every single day. So, but I do want to say that there are a couple of technologies out there that really collect these personal stories in a beautiful way. And there's one that I came into contact with maybe a year or two ago called Eternos. AI. And what it is it's an opportunity for an AI to record by asking hundreds of questions, record someone's experiences, whether they were a medical professional, philanthropist, or they were a judge, but or wherever or an entrepreneur. But just imagine how impactful it would be perhaps once your father or your grandfather has passed away to be able to speak to this AI and say, Dad, I'm thinking about starting another business, or I'm thinking about getting married. What would you say to that? Or what was your experience? And then hearing this in your dad's own voice, giving you that type of advice and expertise when he's no longer there to do that. And so I love that because even for a widow who who is suffering in grief, for her ability to talk to the AI and say, "Honey, I miss you. Tell me again that you love me." And just to hear her departed husband's voice say, "I love you, good night, sweetheart," and be able to say, and then she could say something like, what was like one of your favorite vacations? And then hearing it in his voice come back again. It's just like, I love that. To me, that's when we take the, AI, we make it so personal and so fulfilling and so rewarding.
And can this get creepy as well, in which like the AI is not fully the memory of her dad, let's say that we had, like I guess the backup to that is just like the company that you use if they don't have the right voice or intonation, or if they have bugs, right? We've all like had hallucinations with AI, and this is like, yeah, that's actually that kills the full vibes. I guess the solution to that would have to have an MP4 backup to feed to another company if that one's not doing a good job.
I have not experienced that, but I do know that if it was something that within the initial interview did not get covered, for instance, politics, let's just say there was no no question or answer given on politics, then the AI would say, I don't have the information to share with you here.
Last but not least, we've talked about yeah, older folks, but we haven't talked about their children's, right? Like I haven't experienced that directly yet because my parents aren't that old, but I certainly have seen my parents take care of their parents, and my mom specifically take care of my grandmother with Alzheimer, and that was very painful. Is there technology that exists to make the children's life easier if they're taking care of their of an older parent?
Yes, and it's called the smarter service. That's the service in place. A lot of times as adult children, we get put into this position where we are the default tech support for our parents. And many of us are completely ill-equipped to do just that. Yet we do get stuck there in that position. And the more that we can think about, how can I really love my parent, my older, my aging parent, and 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 most of the time when an adult is helping when an adult child is helping their parents, they get anxious, they get irritated, they get angry. That's not loving. And we want an an adult child to come to us and say, you know what, could you be the service that helps my parents? In the same way, like we'd never think about doing dental work on our parents, right? We'd get them in to see a dentist. We would most likely never think about being the mechanic for their car. So we are the service in place that's going to help the older adult with the technology and that they're using on a day-to-day basis. And so often it is, like I said, just the basics. So it's not like we're building computers for them, but we're teaching them how to use them. And once they know how to use them, they begin to build upon that foundation with so much empowerment and so much confidence. It is really a beautiful progression of skills.
Love that. Abby, where can people find out more about you and the company?
Yeah, thank you for asking. So they can always head to our website, thesmarterservice.com, and they can connect with me directly on LinkedIn.
So that was Abby and Charles for another Charles Cormier